In June 2020, Beijing inserted the national security law directly into Hong Kong's mini-constitution following months of pro-democracy unrest. By mid-2022, almost 200 people had been arrested for allegedly endangering national security, police said. In other words, a person is arrested for endangering national security every 3.7 days. This shows the number of people arrested each month since the implementation of the law. The month which saw the most arrests was January 2021, when 55 Democrats involved in an opposition primary election the previous July were arrested for alleged subversion on the same day. The arrests became more frequent between June to August, perhaps owing to the politically sensitive Tiananmen crackdown anniversary in June and the traditional July 1st Democracy March anniversary. There were just 3 months throughout these 23 months when no one was arrested for endangering national security.
It may fall into the category of subverting the state power, which is now one of the 4 types of offences under the new National Security Law.
The National Security Department began using the recently resurrected colonial-era sedition law more frequently from April 2021, and the National Security Law less often. The sedition law targets seditious acts. It carries a shorter jail term of up to 2 years compared to life in prison under the security law, but it's broader and covers far more actions. Of the national security-related suspects, around 23% were granted bail, while 77% were not.
National security is a serious offense. Have you heard that any suspected murderer or rapist or bank robber being given bail?
For those lucky enough to get bail, conditions for national security-related offences are much stricter than for regular cases. Security law defendants are banned from media interviews, posting on social media, and from running in elections again. These 5 boxes represent 5 civil society occupations. The dots represent the people detained for endangering national security. At least 108 of the 198 people arrested were political figures of Hong Kong civil society. Let's talk about journalists first. All media staff arrested work for Apple Daily or Stan News. The 2 outlets were forced to close when their founders, chief editors and board members were detained for allegedly violating the national security law or sedition legislation. This box shows the total number of Instagram followers shared by 17 Chinese media sites before a number of pro-democracy news outlets shut down. This is how many followers Apple Daily had, 1.04 million. This is how many Stan News had, 1.07 million. Another pro-democracy leaning outlet, Citizen News, closed after the Stan News police raid. It had 239,000 followers. FactWire, an investigative news platform, closed after reporting on the Chinese business links of the sons of Hong Kong's new leader. Here are the shares of 13 other news organisations together. All of these are now gone.
呢一類以往係好肆意觸碰紅線嘅社團同埋人士呢，我自己認為呢，佢哋選擇喺呢個時候自動結束或者解散呢，係唯一嘅選擇。
Almost 60 civil organisations, including unions, newspapers, political parties and humanitarian funds, have disbanded since the security law came into force. Activists who applied in the past to hold political gatherings worked for such organisations. Most are currently in jail or in detention. During the 2019 protests and unrest, the man in charge of the city security was John Lee. The ex-police officer is now Hong Kong leader after a small circle of elites selected him in a one-horse race.
Safeguarding our country's sovereignty, national security and development interests, protecting Hong Kong from internal and external threats.
But after dismissing the idea of amnesty for protesters, it seems the crackdown and exodus from the city may continue.
I look forward to all of us starting a new chapter together.